Alrighty, welcome back to Summit Valley Sports. I'm your host, Jonesy, as always. And before we get into UFC Vegas 120 predictions, make sure you guys leave a like, comment, share. Always helps out the brand. What else also helps out the brand? Always got a plug. Make sure you guys DM me, or I'll leave a link in the description down below if you guys are interested in the shirts. Um, that always helps out as well. I've sold a pretty good amount, and I only have a limited amount of them left. So let me know if you guys are interested. All right, let's get straight into UFC Vegas 120 predictions. All right, for the first fight, we got Gigi Canuto, AZ Valley Girl versus Carol Farrow. For this fight, I think I'm gonna go Carol Farrow. I think her boxing is absolutely insane. I love her boxing. Um, Gigi's jiu-jitsu is really, really good. I can't wait to see her fight more in the UFC, but I think Farrow's striking is going to be too much for Gigi in this fight. So give me Carol in this fight. All right, moving on. We got. All right, I don't know if the order's all discombobulated or whatnot, but we got Juliana Miller versus Ravina Oliveira. For this fight, I'm gonna go Ravina Oliveira. I think she hits like a truck. She hits so hard. She has a few knockouts on her record. I think she has 6 knockouts. Let me see. Sorry about that. Yeah, she's 6-1 to the knockout. The only thing I'm worried about is she's 1-2 to the submission, and that's where Juliana Miller is very good. Her jiu-jitsu is really, really good, but we haven't seen too much of it in the UFC, to be honest. She only has one UFC win by submission, I think. Let's double check. Sorry, I just want to double check. I got the iPad here so we could. Let's see. She has no UFC wins. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I was correct. She doesn't use this correct. She doesn't use. Sorry about that. She doesn't use the jiu-jitsu in her UFC fight. So yeah, give me Ravina Oliveira. I think she might be able to even use her wrestling in this fight and use some ground and pound to get the win. So give me Oliveira for this second fight. Moving on. We got Miles Johns versus Jesse Rosas. I really like this fight. This is Raul Rosas' older brother. Um, I think Jesse is a very good kickboxer. I was watching his tape, and I like how technical he is. He's a way different fighter than Raul. He has good jiu-jitsu as well, decent wrestling, but I think Miles Johns is going to be too much for him in this fight. I think the UFC experience is going to be way too much. Miles Johns has fought the who's who his last recent fight. Um, let's see. Daniel Marcos, his last fight, Gene Matsumoto, and then Felipe Lima. All three of those are absolutely dangerous killers in this division. So I think those three fighters are definitely on a different planet from Jesse Rosas, and that's not talking trash. They've been in UFC, way more UFC experience. Same with Miles Johns, and that's why I'm going with Miles Johns. I think his boxing is going to be there. I think he's going to pressure Jesse. I didn't like how Jesse was he might be too technical, and he wasn't throwing too much volume, in my opinion. Sorry about that. But yeah, give me Miles Johns in this fight. I think he might be I think I could see him wrestling in this fight as well. So yeah, again, give me Miles Johns. All right, moving on. We got Manuel Souza versus Richie Miranda making his UFC debut. Give me Manuel Souza. I think he could get the finish in this fight. Souza hits crazy, and his striking is so explosive. Um, the only thing I worry about is his striking defense. Miranda is a decent pressure fighter, and he can take a punch. I've seen his last few fights recently in the LFA. He was a champion. He was 7-1 in the LFA, I'm pretty sure. Let me double check that. That way I'm not giving wrong. He's 10-1 in LFA. Absolutely crazy. So such a great record. But yeah, give me Manuel Souza. I think He has a really good experience. His resume is really good. He defeated uh, Huffy uh, a few years back. Let's see when everyone knows Huffy. Yeah, Mauricio Huffy. He defeated him in 2019. So that's a very good win on his resume. Um, and he had a good win in his UFC debut. So yeah, give me Manuel Souza. I think the striking is going to be too much for Miranda. So let's moving on to the heavyweights. I really like this fight. All right, we got Jose Montana versus Louis Sutherland. Give me Louis Sutherland. I think he wrestles and ground and pounds Jose Montana. Um, uh, I think Louis also fought the way better competition. I think he's going to be quicker. I couldn't find too much on Jose Montana. Let me know in the comments if you guys could find a lot on him. I only found a little bit of tape, and it was very limited. Few highlights, and I found 2 fights to watch. But yeah, give me Louis Sutherland. I think he's just the way better, more experienced fighter in this fight. All right, moving on. We got Dior Nurgoje versus Bruno Lopez. Both these fighters are fighting for their jobs right now. Uh, I think Dior Nurgoje is going to get the job done. I like his kickboxing, but I do not like his little his whatever it is, his eye grabbing. He grabs his eye all the time in his striking, and I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. I think it could in the future play a huge factor. But Bruno Lopez is so low volume, and I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Nurgaje. Nurgaje is very quick for the division. He's very light on the feet. Watch out for the movement and watch those kicks in this fight. I can't wait for this fight, and it's I'm looking forward to Dior's left too. I think that's going to be wide open all fight. All right, moving on. We got Steven Asplin versus Guilherme Pat. Give me Steven Asplin. I love his boxing. I love his volume. He throws so much, such a good pressure fighter. And Guilherme Pat is absolutely the opposite fighter. He does not throw a lot. It was very frustrating watching his last few fights. I kept screaming at the screen, throw, kick, and he's not throwing or doing anything. His volume is very low. I'm not a huge fan of his resume either. He does not have a good resume. So give me Steven Asplin in this fight. I think he gets the job done very easily. Moving on to the main card. We got Ty Miller versus Billy Ray Goff. I've been going back and forth for this fight. This is going to be a banger. I had Ty Miller earlier in the fight, or earlier in the week, but give me Billy Ray Goff. I think he gets the wrestling going, and Ty Miller, his striking defense is not there right now. He kind of leaves his face open to be hit, and he'll be hit once but throw 3. Billy Ray Goff, I think he's going to be able to keep up with that speed and that power. I think he's going to catch Ty Miller. I'm not saying he's going to finish him, but I'll go over the predictions at the end of the video as well. But yeah, give me Billy Ray Goff. I think he gets the wrestling done for sure, or gets it going, and the striking. I think he has the way more power than Ty Miller in this fight. All right, moving on. I'm excited for this fight. We got maybe I'm too excited. We got Amanda Lemos versus Alexia Thayanara, my girl. Give me Thayanara all day. I think she possibly retires Lemos. Not actually. I don't think Lemos retires, but I think Thayanara is going to be way too much for Lemos. I think she gets her by submission this weekend. And I think Lemos is one more fight out from her career being over. But shout out Amanda Lemos. What an amazing career. But Thayanara, look out for this prospect. Possible future champ. I think she is. I really like Alexa Thayanara. So shout out Alexa Thayanara if you see this. Huge fan. I think she gets the job done by submission again. Give me Thayanara. All right, moving on. We got Darren Elkins confirming his retirement fight versus Yadir Del Valle. Uh, he's had a little suspicion around his name, but I think it's a little cleared up, to be honest. I think that whole thing was crazy with the UFC, but I think it's over now. But yeah, give me Del Valle in this fight. I think Elkins is going to be just too washed up. And that's not talking any trash. Shout out Darren Elkins for having an amazing, amazing career. Put on such an amazing fights for us fans, us diehards that watch every weekend. Have watched your whole career almost. Um, yeah, shout out Darren Elkins. Give me Del Valle though in this fight, and I possibly could see a finish. All right, moving on. Oh, we got Billy Quarantillo. Billy Quarantillo making his UFC return for after a 2-year layoff versus Diego Ferreira. And honestly, give me Billy Quarantillo. Um, I think Diego Ferreira is up there in age. In all honesty, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to take punches from Billy. Billy hits very hard, and I think this is a new division for him. So he's moving up in weight class, which I really like for his chin. But yeah, give me Billy Quarantillo in this fight. I think he finds possibly a finish in this fight. Yeah, we might see a pretty good amount of finishes in this week. All right, moving on to the main event. We got Mateus Gamrot versus Quinlan Salkilled. Give me Salkilled. Give me the hyped prospect all day. I think a few hyped prospects win this week. Yeah, I think Salkilled. I think he gets it done. I think Gamrot's really known for ruining the prospect's hype, but I think this is one prospect he can't ruin. Can't ruin the hype around. I think Quinlan Salkilled possibly goes to decision and gets a dominant decision win. I really like this kid's boxing. I love his kicks, and he has very good wrestling. Sorry if I'm touching the mic too much. And I think he's going to be able to threaten the submissions if Gamrot keeps depending on that wrestling, which he always does in his fights. But yeah, give me Quinlan Salkilled in this fight. And yeah, I think the hype keeps going. I think it keeps going. All right, I'm going to go over my picks again. And then, as always, I'm going to pick a knockout alert of the week and a banger alert of the week. So, for the first fight, give me Carol Farrow. Give me Ravina Oliveira. Give me Miles Johns, Manuel Souza, Louis Sutherland, Dayer Nurgaje, Steven Asplin, Billy Ray Goff, Alexia Thayanara, shout out, Yadir Del Valle, Billy Quarantillo with his UFC return, and then Quinlan Salkilled, the hot prospect. Let's see. For the banger alert of the week, let's go. Let's see. Okay, a banger alert of the week is gonna go with Manuel Souza versus Richie Miranda in the prelims. Souza is a very hot prospect as well, and Richie Miranda is making his UFC debut after being 10-1 in the LFA and defending his belt a few times as champion. So yeah, I think that's banger alert of the week, and then knockout alert of the week. I think it's Ty Miller versus Billy Ray Goff. I could easily go with an easy one. Maybe I should go with an easy one. Maybe I'll go knockout alert of the week. Ooh, you could either do Nurgaje versus Bruno Lopez or Asplin versus Guilherme Pat. Ooh. Give me a knockout alert of the week is on Steven Asplin versus Guilherme Pat. I think he finds a late round finish. I really like Asplin's cardio, and his boxing is at elite status in my opinion. His volume is so crazy. If you haven't caught any of his fights, make sure you catch it this weekend. Speaking of fights, I'm going to UFC Noche. I hope I see a lot of you guys out there. I can't wait for the fights. They just announced that Gene Silva is fighting Yair Rodriguez. Such a banger main event. Early lean. I'm gonna go Gene Silva. I'm a huge Gene Silva fan, and I think Yair just doesn't fight a lot. So I don't know if he's gonna be able to take Gene Silva's punches. To be honest. Um, and then also what I wanted to talk about. Oh, rest in peace, Alan Nascimento. So sad, such a sad story. Um, shout out the shout out the Nascimento family, and prayers go out to you guys. Um, yeah, such a sad. Shout out the Shuto box too. Prayers go out to you guys too. Such a sad event. Um, yeah, Alan Nascimento was a very, very fun fighter. I really liked his fights. Uh, yeah, very, very sad event. There's a lot of UFC news going on. I know I haven't been posting the UFC podcast. I need to get that going, and I think I found a Tuesday podcast is gonna be work. It will work the best for the schedule. So look out for that for the news. So I could talk more about that. I typically don't talk about like sad or bad news for the UFC though. I only talk about upcoming news and positive stuff. So, but yeah, I just had a shout out and say prayers and for the Nascimento family and the Shuto box. So, um, see you guys Sunday for the reaction video, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys Friday or no Sunday, like I just said. Hope you guys have a blessed day, and thank you for watching as always. Peace.